Desert Rose is an OVA I've been interested in checking out for a while now, and finally I was able to sit down and give it a watch. Was it worth the hype I was building up in my head when I saw that it involved maids with guns? Well, let's talk about it. Desert Rose follows an all-female anti-terrorist group called Section M, led by the beautifully tragic Mariko Rosebank, otherwise known as the Desert Rose due to the shrapnel scar on her chest. After another successful mission, the group of mercenary misfits is called into action, where they're sent off to Switzerland to protect the world's leaders during a secret conference. The plot is a neat setup, but sadly the OVA doesn't really do much with it. The girls have to figure out what the terrorists have planned, and while they do that, most of the runtime, save for an action sequence halfway through the OVA, is the girls just standing around talking. And unfortunately, the story itself is pretty shallow and basic. I really like the girls of Section M, but sadly the majority of them only get a single minor moment that introduces their personality trait, with some of them not even getting that. Mariko naturally has the most character and backstory, with us learning about the tragic events that led to her becoming the terrorist-killing commando she is today. I liked her, and I liked the rest of the girls. I just wish that the OVA was longer and gave us more moments with them. Though, for sure, my absolute favorite of the girls was the lusty Irene. There's a few guy characters, and sadly their whole character really boils down to them initially doubting the women before they realize how cool they are. The villains didn't get any character at all, outside of a drunken pervy scientist who's a cannon fodder bit of plot progression. Otherwise, it's just a pair of goons, and that's it. Action-wise, man, I really wish there was more. There's 2 action scenes in the entire film, then it slows down to a crawl. At least the shootouts were fun, and the second action scene was exciting and shot well. That, and the film was bloody, which is always a plus. In terms of the animation, while it wasn't the smoothest anime film I've ever seen, it wasn't bad, and there were some really neat shots. The action scenes had a good flow to them, and most things just look good. I don't really have any complaints. The highlight of the film is naturally all the girls' designs, with once again Irene being my favorite of the bunch. There was also some cheesecake here, though it wasn't over the top. Not to mention the always appreciated inclusion of maids, even if, unfortunately, they never got a real action scene, which is a big shame in my opinion. In the sound department, everything was quite good. The Japanese voice acting sounded extremely fitting for all the girls, and good for the rest of the characters, and the soundtrack was rockin'. The rest of the sound effects were good, and nothing sounded bad at all. And with all that said, Desert Rose, while a bit underwhelming, isn't bad at all. They're still fun to enjoy here, and I'm glad I gave it a watch. I think the best thing about the OVA, though, was introducing me to the manga, which I look forward to reading more of. The OVA isn't something that is a must-watch, but if you have 50 minutes to spare and know that it is not some action-filled romp, but more of a slower-paced flick with some fun scenes, then it's not a bad watch at all. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing with your friends and subscribing to the channel to see more. I want to give a huge thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also Orion Knight for doing up the art and rig of Punish Neat, Alexander for doing the show's intro theme, and my friend Alex for making the thumbnail design. Their social media and my Patreon will be linked in the description down below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Sarah Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!